All right, welcome to the Morris Sussex Sports Talk Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, George Muha, along with my co-host, Karen Muha. And I got a little feedback from YouTube, so I'm going to turn that off. Otherwise, it's really hard to focus. Bear with me a second. Took care of that. Thank you so much again, everybody, for tuning in. Again, George Muha, Karen Muha. So happy to have you. We're finishing week 8 of the COVID-19 Morris Sussex Sports Talk Show, where we interview all the players, coaches, and teams that make everything so special in Morris Sussex. And I need to let you know that today's broadcast is being made possible in part by the Orthopedic Institute of New Jersey, providing top-tier orthopedic services for all athletes, all people of all ages, with locations located all 5 minutes from every single Morris Sussex high school, with locations in Cedar Knolls, Succasunna, Sparta, Newton, and of course Hackettstown. And they have urgent care hours. So if you get banged up on the field, or even if it's if you're a weekend warrior, go see them anytime to 8 p.m. in the evening, or noon, or 8 p.m. to noon on Saturday and Sunday. Great organization. We have had a lot of our doctors on our show. Also, Ivy Rehab, also with locations all over Morris Sussex. When you bang up on the field, then you go to Ivy Rehab. They get you back in order, back on track. Also, the County College of Morris, with providing a top-tier education at an affordable price right here in our backyard in Randolph, New Jersey. And they have partnerships with over 100 colleges, four-year colleges. So you get your degree, and then you move on. You don't skip a beat. You can finish in 4 years. And athletes, County College of Morris has Division II and Division III sports. And they compete very well, always competing for a national championship or national playoffs. They do a fantastic job. Below Body Bar, Rockaway, New Jersey. You need some cryotherapy? Go stop by right off on Route 46 in Rockaway. And if you're hungry and you need some good food, you don't want to get a fast food. You got to go to Fitness Grill in Randolph. Go see my friend Massimo. He'll take care of you. So, Karen, we're just finishing week 8. It's Friday evening, and we've been through a lot, and we have a great show because we're going to bring in our friend right now. We're going to cut right to the chase, Karen. We're going to bring on our pal Luke Delavan, Madison lacrosse stud, Morris Sussex regular. He's been done play-by-play for us. He's been on our talk show. He's Mr. Everything, and he does some cool stuff with Morris Sussex. So, hey, Luke, thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good. So we're talking like this is week 8 of our quarantine. We had you on, I don't even remember, it was weeks ago.
Hi, Luke.
Hey, Karen. How are you? Good. Yeah. It's been a few weeks. I remember jumping on a little while ago. It's hard to kind of keep track of time. Some things are like, was that 2 days ago or 3 weeks ago? I don't know. But I know
I agree.
Yeah.
So Luke, just a little background for people at home. Luke Delavan is a Madison guy. We won't hold that against him too much, but a Madison Dodger from back in 2005. When did you graduate?
2008, I graduated. I was just a scrawny freshman in 2005.
Then you went on had a great lacrosse career at for some reason I want to say Susquehanna, and yep. You're still local. You're still involved with high school sports in varying ways. I mean, you do some play-by-play broadcasting with us, and you're part of the group that's putting a new football camp that's going to come out in July. Hopefully, everything still works out. You want to just talk a quick little blurb about that?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's still kind of scheduled as originally planned. Have a great staff of coaches, some former professionals, including Colin Jenkins, who was in the NFL, a Super Bowl champion, and other kind of local people who played professionally and or in college. So including also some coaches, Madison coach Kubik, will be there, and a couple of Morristown beer coaches as well. So yeah, it's definitely exciting. We've expanded outside of New Jersey. Actually, recently had some folks sign up for the camp from New York. So it'll be interesting to see kind of that dynamic. I know how competitive, people are representing their states and everything like that. So that'll be an interesting dynamic to add to the camp for sure.
Yeah, what's cool is that you have the little guys involved and then go all the way up to senior year, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Right now, most of the campers are kind of in that like between age 10 and 15 range, but certainly have a few, on either side, younger as well as older. So yeah, it's definitely looking really good. We're liking how it's coming together.
That's cool. That's cool. And Luke, did you play football for Madison too, or just lacrosse?
Yeah, I played football. Yeah, I played football for Madison. Also basketball, but yeah, mostly lacrosse for sure. But yeah, I did play football.
Is that right? You played basketball? You played 3 sports?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
They've been talking all these past 8 weeks about how smart it is to like change it up. Like use like different muscle groups, right, George?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was it is important, I think, and you see a lot of people who they call it, specializing, dealing with a lot of injuries just from really only using a few muscle groups and then having to cut differently than you might normally and see, a knee or ankle go out. Obviously, people who play base, who over pitch, it's almost a guarantee that pitchers are going to need Tommy John at some point. So yeah, it's I think it's something that's being lost a little bit today, but I still think it's important to play, a couple of different sports, if not, 3. So that's kind of my opinion.
And Luke, you got a brother. Is he a senior at Madison?
Yeah. I mean, he's doing the remote thing right now, but yeah, he's a senior. He recently committed to Virginia Tech, actually.
Did he really?
Oh,
For
cool.
what, lacrosse?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure if he'll play lacrosse. He actually didn't play in high school, broke his brother's heart, but he's a really big martial artist. He's a double black belt in Taekwondo. So I think
great.
He'll keep that up. And he might pick up lacrosse again. I mean, they have a club program and they're pretty good. I've actually played with some people who played club there. So I don't know. Hopefully he picks it back up, but I'm not sure. I'll let him speak for himself on that one.
So look, you mentioned to me before. I didn't know this. You said you went to Roanoke before you went to Susquehanna.
Yeah. I went to Roanoke. Yep, down in Virginia, for my freshman year.
Okay, and it just wasn't working the way you liked it.
No, I mean it was a great school. It was a little bit far, far away from home. So there were kind of a lot of factors on why that wasn't as ideal a fit as I originally thought. But also I was a little bit, coming out of high school, I was a little bit immature to be, to start college, and be that far away. I had to kind of get my priorities realigned. And so I had to get a little bit closer to home.
All right. That's cool.
You can read between the lines a little bit on that.
I was going to say the diplomatic way of putting it. So,
I think we hear that often, right?
Yeah.
No, a lot of kids
everybody goes, Colorado, love it, can't wait to go, until they realize they can't come home for Sunday dinner.
Yeah, it's a shock for sure. I kind of think about that when I think about seniors now who are dealing with all this, obviously my brother included, to have this kind of like isolation thing where not only are you in your living with your parents the way everybody is when they're seniors, but now you're like really with your parents and your siblings and everything. And then at some point, hopefully next fall, you're just going to be thrown into a completely different lifestyle. So that'll kind of be an interesting, dynamic for freshmen next year, I think.
Yeah. we'll see if they're going to have even have classes. I mean, these colleges are starting to think of they're not going to have an on-campus college experience at this time.
Yeah, it's an unparalleled set of circumstances we have going on right now. I think it's it's interesting. I think, you know, kids who are going to be in college or who are already in college might consider, you know, I know County College of Morris is a partner of yours. You know, I always took summer classes at County just because, you know, playing lacrosse, I wanted to have maybe a lighter course workload academically in season. Also just dealing with injuries and stuff like that. I was always in the training room, so it really worked out. But it might be a time to like take advantage of that over this summer, just to take, you know, knock out a few credits that might transition over to your school, and, you know,
Good suggestion.
get ahead of the game a little bit. I think that might be a good idea for kids.
Yeah. We were talking about gap year and, you know, just staying home, maybe saving money, how smart that would be too. I don't think I could talk it into my daughter though.
I couldn't. I know I couldn't talk that into my brother. So
Okay.
there's no way.
Yeah.
He's getting out for sure.
Yeah, we got the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going, I don't care, you know, kind of thing. I think that if she did stay home, she's going to rent her own apartment too, right here, and go to CCM if that's the way it's going to have to be, you know?
Yeah, you know, if you can afford it, might as well.
Yeah, I guess so.
So Luke, you want to
Wait,
talk?
I gotta ask Luke a question. Do you see a change? Seriously, do you see a difference in like yourself and your brother, like just the way they look at life? You know, the way he looks at life, the way you look at life, you know, what was valuable to you and what kind of, you know, was important. I mean, do you see differences from the, you know, these millennials, these like techie kids?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, first of all, having coached kids, and I haven't in the last couple of years, but I've coached in Madison and also Jersey City. So I've noticed a lot of that kind of up close and personal with kids outside of my family. But, you know, it's an interesting dynamic to be 30 years old and have a brother. You know, I have 3 brothers, but the one who's a senior, he's 17, obviously turning 18 in a month or so. And then another brother who's actually turning 20 in a couple days, actually. So there are obviously like similarities in terms of how a kid is going to prioritize their time. And I think that's going to be consistent through every generation of, you know, wanting to play video games and watch TV and be a little bit lazy, eat bad food and all that kind of normal stuff. But I mean, kids now, you know, with social media and stuff, I think are a lot more aware and in tune with, you know, what's going on outside of even, you know, in my case, Madison. I think they have a lot more access to information and are kind of a little bit more, you know, dangerous with, and I use dangerous not to mean literally danger, but just in the knowledge that they have and the access to information, and kind of, you know, I might.
Yeah, they can find out anything. They can research and see and, you know, question anything. I think our son gave us a little, you know, psychology review last night. He's 17. Georgie, you know, started the conversation on psychology and he basically finished it because he knew more from what he's Googled, I think. Yeah,
you know, so, but it's an interesting, millennials are an interesting breed. And I'm technically a millennial too, but I kind of have maybe a little bit more of an old school mentality on a lot of things, but it is. I can definitely see some pretty obvious and glaring differences for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
And Luke, your buddy Ralph Sandello is your buddy, and he's a part of the Future Stars football camp as well, right? And he's a Morristown Beard coach. Right. Is he a teacher there too?
No, not yet. He's kind of, I think that's in the works, but at the moment, no, he's not
Okay.
a teacher there.
Yeah, but he's been there quite a few years. I think he's the quarterbacks coach, no?
He was working with quarterbacks and receivers, but now he's actually one of the he's an offensive coordinator, and it
Oh,
was
okay. Good
this
for him.
past season as well.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. I'm curious, they work with, they have some, Morristown Beard. Um, they're kind of a funny school because they have, they're a private school. They don't have the big numbers, but the coaching staff is just a great coaching staff with, Ralph and Tim Fell, and they got a couple NFL guys, like you said, with Jenkins and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting. Yeah, Morristown Beer is an interesting school. Obviously, we never really played against. We played against them in lacrosse, but not in football or basketball. But I went to a couple of camps with some kids, and they have always had, or maybe not always, but at random points, they've had like spectacular athletes that go through there, but also in the midst of like the team and the conference and stuff like that isn't quite as competitive, but somehow they end up having, some studs. Like when I was in high school, they had this kid, Colin Larmond, who ended up going to Boston College playing wide receiver.
That's right.
And
Yep.
he
was he your year? Was he your year?
I think he was my year. We went to a camp together, me, him, and Mike Betts, and became friends there, and kind of like kept in touch for a little while. But
he was a good player too, right?
Oh yeah, he was a great player. But that was sort of the situation. I went to a couple of games, and it was like, they had linemen who were like 150 pounds, and then they had Mike Betts and Colin Larmond doing absolutely everything. One of them was always playing quarterback, and the other would be playing running back or receiver, and then punting and kicking field goals and playing safety and corner and everything. It was like, and I just went to the game. I was like, wow, like they just, that is the team. It was crazy.
You're right. Was Betts a Madison kid?
I don't think, no, he was Morris County, but no, he didn't live in Madison.
Okay. Yeah. Where did he go? Because he was a player. I
don't remember. I feel like he might have played baseball in college.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah. And then Ralph was your teammate in Madison?
Yeah, I mean, Ralph had been my teammate since we were kids. I mean, we played on the same basketball team from 6th grade, like the YMCA Gators, won a couple of, regional championships there together from 6th through 8th grade. And then obviously middle school and high school. So, and then actually him and I went to Roanoke together freshman year. Both of us ended up transferring at one point or another, but he's been a close friend and obviously a teammate of mine for many years.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
And watching him, become a good coach has been a great experience for me. Talking about game planning and obviously planning this camp out with him a lot. He really has started to come into his own as a coach and a leader of young men. So it's a good fun to watch.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know him so much, but I've gotten to know him just from other coaches and stuff. And it seems like he's really become a big asset over there on that staff.
Yeah, he's got,